Hi, all of my friends out there. I know you've been waiting for a quick review on how my freeze-dried ice cream did. So here we are. Here is my plate full of yummy goodies, and we're gonna talk about this. First and foremost, I just want you to know I have a Harvest Right 2024 medium freeze dryer. My freeze dryer has 5 trays, okay? So the cool thing about this new freeze dryer that I've had for several months is it has many updates on it. It has been doing phenomenally well with all the things that I have freeze dried thus far. So here is my first ice cream run. I am so pleased with it, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. I'm gonna put my handy little gloves on for sanitary purposes, and I can't wait to show you how these little guys turned out. So what I have here is I have a mint ice cream chocolate chip cookie. I call them cookies because they're not ice cream anymore. They're so good. I have the vanilla, and look how perfect they turned out. Aren't they so cute? I also have here the cookies and cream. Perfect. And I have bite-sized little ice cream sandwiches. Aren't those adorable? Now here's where we're gonna talk. I had my favorite ice cream. I'm gonna show you. This is the cherry cordial ice cream. This is heaven. Let me talk a little bit about this here. Okay, so here I have my cherry cordial ice cream. I had a few turn out beautifully. See that? Perfect. However, I did have quite a few do this. So there is some bubbling. They never melted. They just crystallized and bubbled up. I didn't have a huge mess in my Harvest Right. There was no mess. It was luck. I feel so blessed. However, what I truly believe happened here is this. I did all my ice cream the exact same way. What I'm noticing is that this expensive ice cream has 27 grams of sugar in it. 27 grams, guys, that's a lot of sugar. When I look at all my other ice cream, I have the Kroger. Okay, this is what you're seeing here. This had 18 grams of sugar. I did the cookies and cream. This has 17 grams of sugar. And I did the vanilla Kroger brand, 16 grams of sugar. My lower sugar content ice cream turned out absolutely stunning. No melting, no sugar blows. I didn't look at the sugar content on my ice cream sandwich, but those also turned out quite lovely. So I have these perfect, cute little ice cream cookies. And I did get a few of those as well. So I gotta put that one out there. But I really, truly believe, you guys, the reason why some of these little ice cream bites bubbled up like they did, crystallized like they did, again, is because of sugar content. Now, I wanna get into what I did with my freeze-dried ice cream. I kind of wrote some notes because I didn't want to forget on how this went, okay? So I have the 5 trays, and I also have 5 lids that go on each of these trays. I have a tall stand-up deep freezer. I set my deep freezer at -5 degrees. Perfect temperature. I don't know that I would go to like -10 or -20. That's not necessary. 0 is fine too, but I felt like -5 was a really good temperature for freeze drying with my ice cream. So you want to deep freeze these guys really good. So here's how I did it. Put all of my trays with the lids on in my deep freezer for 24 hours. You can do up to 36 hours if you want, if you really want to make sure that they're nice and solid cold. Then I brought in one at a time. I brought in whichever ice cream I was ready to scoop, brought in my tray. I put my tray down, took the lid off, put that lid down on my counter, and put my tray up on top. So now my frozen lid is keeping my frozen tray nice and cold. And then I took my cute little Gorilla melon ball scooper. This is a 1 tablespoon size, okay? And that's how you get these cute little sizes like that. And I quickly just scooped like crazy as fast as I could. Your hands do get tired. They can get a little sore, just FYI. But what I did with my medium-sized tray is I did 4 scoops across and 10 scoops this way. And then as soon as I got all my scoops on, my ice cream never melted. They actually stayed intact the whole entire time, working fast and keeping those trays on top of a nice cold platform, which I used my frozen lid. Quickly just put that lid back on top of that tray, get it back into the deep freezer as quickly as you can. You don't really want any melting time as much as possible because you kind of get more air into your ice cream if it melts, and that's when you're going to end up with the little crystallization as well. So you either have a high sugar content or you've let your ice cream melt and you're going to have this issue. But I believe in my case, because I didn't have issues with any of those, I simply believe it's because this had the higher sugar content, 27 grams, guys. That's a lot. Okay, so got that right back into the deep freezer, pulled out my next tray, pulled out my next ice cream, did all of that one at a time. I did my ice cream sandwiches last. I put this little guy, I put all the ones that I was gonna cut up in my freezer here as soon as I pulled those out of the deep freezer, which, by the way, let me back up. I put all of my ice creams, the ones that I was gonna use, in my deep freezer. So these weren't in my regular freezer. So these were really cold too. Maybe that was part of my problem of having a hard time scooping so quickly, but I had a nice little glass of warm water. If I needed it, dip it in. It helps scoop things a lot faster. It's your choice, whatever you want to do. But I had these in my deep freezer. So it's nice and solid cold. So anyway, I would do all the trays, did these last. What I did with these cute little ice cream sandwich bars, I had them about this big. Sorry, I know I'm touching these with my hands now. I'm gonna eat them, so no worries. I took these, okay, like this, cut it down the middle, and then chopped them like this way. So I had about 10 little bites of these cute little ice cream sandwich bites. Now they're little ice cream sandwich cookies. So we have those. Got them on my parchment paper on my tray, stuck those in the deep freezer. I left my ice cream trays in the deep freezer for 48 hours, you guys. This is a week's process. You want to freeze your trays, freeze your ice cream really good, scoop them onto those trays as quick as possible, put them back in the deep freezer, let them go for 48 hours, and now you're ready to start freeze drying your ice cream. So here we are, right? So yesterday morning, I went downstairs to my freeze dryer, turned it on, and I set my settings at -10. So -10 with 1 hour extra freeze time. You have a choice. You could do 2, 3, 4 hours of extra freeze time. I just did 1. And then I set my temperature at the regular setting of 125. And then a normal dry mode, not the fast dry mode, because I feel like with ice cream, you don't want to rush the process. You really want to make sure that your ice cream is getting nice and done properly. I think that if you put it on the dry mode, faster mode, that you might end up with some blow-ups. So put it on the normal dry mode. And then I also added the extra 24 hours of extra dry time, just because my life is super busy and crazy, lots of kids and, you know, all the fun stuff. So life gets busy. So you don't want it to go into that cold mode and then you have to start warming your trays again. I just don't want to risk that with ice cream. So I put on the extra 24 hours, went to bed. So let me just say, yesterday morning, I put all the ice cream into my freeze dryer. Let me back up again. So when I put my settings on to my freeze dryer, customizing it, I let it run not the 15 minutes to get your trays cool, because after 15 minutes it was only down to like 65 degrees. Don't want that with ice cream. You want to get below 20. For me, I let it run an entire hour and it got down to 11 degrees. That was perfect for your ice cream. Ran outside, grabbed all of my trays. Make sure that you have something long enough to wear on your arms and hands. This is what I grab my trays with because they are really cold, especially when they're in the deep freezer at -5. You don't want to end up with freezer burn on your arms. It'll hurt. So anyway, I just grabbed them, run them downstairs, open up my door, pop them all in as quickly as possible. I put the ice cream sandwiches on the bottom shelf. That was my preference. I just kind of felt like they would do better on the bottom. They say that the middle shelves are warmer, the top and bottom shelves are colder. So I put my cherry cordial ice cream on the top shelf, my mint chocolate chip on the second shelf, cookies and cream on the 3rd, vanilla on the 4th shelf, and my ice cream sandwiches on the 5th shelf. Shut it as quickly as possible and hit start. I let them run from 8 a.m. yesterday till 7 a.m. this morning. Got up, pulled out my scale, checked my, weight on each of these trays. I check them in grams. I just feel, for some reason, that's just better. It's just the way I work. And then I just kind of switched the trays, popped them back into the freeze dryer and let them go for 4 more hours because I had somewhere to be this morning. So I let them run an additional extra 4 hours on top of that, and came home at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and now maybe it was longer than 4 hours, but either way, got home at 1 o'clock this afternoon, pulled them all out, and they were perfect. I weighed them all again, same weight, no change. So they were ready to go, and just biting into these guys are creamy when they start to kind of reconstitute in your mouth after you're kind of chewing on them. I would say that the taste actually is more enhanced in my opinion. I feel like, man, it tastes just like that ice cream that you love, but more in a cookie form. And so I'm really impressed with these. So anyway, just wanted to point out too, once they're done, pop them in a Mylar bag, or you can pop them in a jar. If you want to keep them indefinitely for 25 years, maybe 30 if you're lucky, pop a good sized little Mylar bag in your an oxygen absorber in your Mylar bag. I recommend getting these individually wrapped oxygen absorbers. Individually wrapped. That way you don't have to worry about the other ones going bad if you're not ready to use them. Got those off Amazon. These are 300 cc's. 300 cc's are really good in a pint size Mylar bag. If they're bigger than this size, I would recommend going 600 cc's. Okay, for fun, here's what I'm doing. Now obviously these are gonna be just for me and my husband, but the ones that I'm gonna give out as gifts, always use, for sanitary purposes, use your plastic gloves just to keep everything healthy. Pop them in there. They look absolutely adorable. Like, who's not gonna love freeze-dried ice cream as a gift from you? And on Amazon, I found these cute little plastic jars. They're 8-ounce jars. And my little 1 tablespoon bites of ice cream, I just fit like a whole bunch of them in this little guy. I even made little labels with my name, calling it Made with Love, Crystal's Candies. Super cute gifts, you guys. So cute. But honestly, a lot of these are gonna stay in my house and be very much enjoyed. I wish you all the best. I wish you the luck. Honestly, again, in my personal review, the Kroger cheaper brand ice cream with less sugar content, I think is gonna do far better in your freeze dryer than the more expensive, higher sugar content brand. Just from my own personal experience. All right, well, that's my review, you guys. I hope you have success in all of your freeze drying adventures, and have a great week. See ya.